Yesterday was Lakers training camp. It took place at UCLA Health Training Center. Select members of the media were there, along with Darvin Ham, Rob Pelinka, and everyone associated with the Lakers training camp roster. Here are my 3 main takeaways from the event. My first one is Darvin Ham is focused on defense. At every given moment, he talked about defensive schemes, defensive focus, and what this team is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. He said, quote, "The best offense is a great defense. Being able to create turnovers, being able to create fast break opportunities, being able to collapse the defense because you are running and not playing against a set defense and everyone is scrambling." He also introduced a new stat to Laker Nation called the Killstat. Darvin Ham described the Killstat in basketball as 3 defensive stops in a row. The idea is if you stop them 3 times, it's like you essentially killed their offense. He actually mentioned that Phil Handy is going to be the one keeping track of this stat. Once again, Phil Handy is the only coach from last year to be retained and brought onto this new coaching staff. Obviously, with Media Day, it's all about just saying what people want to hear, and it's all supposed to be positive. But as I've mentioned many times before, you can't win Media Day, but you can lose it saying the wrong things. And overall, Darvin Ham said the right things. He seems very defensively focused. He seems prepared, ready to go. And that's all you can ask for from your head coach on Media Day, especially for a new head coach. All right. My second takeaway is that Pat Bev is something else. I think we all know this already. James Worthy, when talking to Pat Bev, mentioned that he's the kind of player you hate to play against, but you love to play for and with. And he also mentioned that, James Worthy mentioned that to LeBron James, and he said the same thing. He said he's one of the 3 players he hated to play against, but loved playing with. He mentioned, obviously, Pat Bev, and the other 2, one of them was Lance Stevenson, and the other was Kendrick Perkins. So I found that very interesting, very funny. Of the 3 players LeBron mentioned that he hated playing against, but loved playing once they were on his team. And Pat Bev just kept it going. He has that energy about him. He's got that dog, as they say. And he told this hilarious story, just absolutely hilarious story about becoming actually best friends with Russ. He says that Russ is actually one of his best friends on the team. Mentioned that there's a lot of hoopla over their beef when Pat Bev was a Rocket and Russ was from OKC and all those things, but it seems like they buried the hatchet, and calling him your best friend on the roster right now is quite interesting. I don't think anyone had that on their training camp / media day bingo card, but hey, that's what he said. He said he's working out with him every morning, and if he had to name a best friend right now on the team, it would be Russell Westbrook. And my third and final takeaway is that the point guard position is wide open. Virtually every player was asked, especially on the guard side, about the point guard position, about there not being a named starter, how they felt about it. Of course, everyone kind of gave the politically correct answer, which is, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for the team. It doesn't matter if I'm starting, great. If I'm off the bench, great. Russ obviously was asked about this since he was the starting point guard, and he's clearly one of the highest paid players on the roster at $44 million a year coming off the bench. He handled it pretty well, said he's just going to do his job. He's here to do his job, and he's going to do it professionally, and that's his task, and he will do so as he always has done. So overall, I think Russ handled that well. He was obviously under fire with all the trade rumors and everything, and I think he handled it as best he could. We're going to find out now that the rubber meets the road. Training camp's officially in full effect, and the first Laker game is next Monday. So we'll start to see a little bit more about the team right now. But overall, I think it was a good media day, a couple good takeaways, and now we wait to see what information we get from training camp, and basketball starts next week. I can't wait.